This video was sponsored by Squarespace. One thing about being married to a potter is you're going to have mugs. So many mugs. All of these mugs are going to be a little bit messed up because you couldn't sell them, but you're not going to get rid of them. You made them. They're your babies. The other thing about being married to a potter is you're going to have boxes of half-broken ceramics. Prototypes, explosions, glaze fails, cracks. So what do you do with all this stuff? I think I found the solution. I think I've made a grave error already. I've smashed a whole thing already, some from each of these boxes, but I realized I should be dividing it up by color if I'm going to make a mosaic out of it. That will be clever, much more clever than what I'm doing. I have a lot of pots with this color. I'm trying to figure out, so this is when I'm making the template prototypes, and this is kind of like the crappy reclaim. It's got bloating, it's, just very irregular, so that's why I use it for the template prototypes, because it's basically like wasted clay. So I have a lot that's kind of like this brownish whitish color. That could maybe be like a background color for something. And right now I'm just basically smashing them into pieces that are like this big, because I don't know how big of pieces I'm going to need and like what shapes and everything. So I'm just smashing them down now, and then I know I'm probably going to make them smaller later. I also have a lot of this blue just because I use the blue a lot. I was thinking, could do something like an ocean scene, something with water, to use up the blue. I've got a lot to get through, so I think we're just gonna zoom ahead with this. So I've smashed everything. I've got a white bin. This is like tan off-white, blue, and this is, I mixed yellow and red together. And then I've got an absolute mixture and another mostly green absolute mixture. This is green whitish. I also have a bunch of test tiles, which I thought would be fun to incorporate somehow. I guess they're tiles. It's a very specific color palette that I've got going here, so I have to figure out what the heck I want to do. This book is so cool. It's German. I just found it at the thrift store. It's so cool though, because it's got like so many ideas, examples of things you could do. I really like this goat. How cool is that? This is all with perfect store-bought tiles instead of smash tiles, so it's not going to be like as precise, but this, how cool is this lizard? Do I have enough green to make a lizard? Also, do I just want to make a wall thing? Some really cool ones in here. Look at this frog. I'm obsessed with this frog. Like, this is a backsplash. Do I want to make like just something from my wall, or do I want to make something physical like a plant pot? I think I just want to make a picture. It's the next day. I was brainstorming all day yesterday about what I would make, and I decided it would need to be something like rather large scale because the tiles are loosey-goosey, right? So like it's not going to be as pristine as the tiles on here because I'm not starting with perfect tiles. I'm starting with shards. So I was thinking about like an object that I wanted to make, and I came up with what I think is a pretty obvious but kind of cool solution. I'm gonna make a pot out of broken pots. Is it too meta? I don't know, I think it's cool, but I do actually have to scale this down a little bit because I want to put a border on. So I'm going to make a pattern and then I can fold it in half and make sure everything is even. So I'm going to use some paper to make the cross section, and then I can double it for both sides. So how do I like scale this down though? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I just want to make this part a little wider. He looks a bit weird. This part is too narrow. Like I could use some green down here. So it's like sitting on some grass, and then we'll use blue, green, and then the actual vase will be like these colors. So like the color of the wood, and then maybe, just maybe some pops of yellow, but I really feel like I need to limit this color palette, else it gets too crazy. Should I cut off this extra? It feels too tall, unless I put something up there. This also feels too big. I'm confused. And I also just like, I'm too lazy to cut it. This, with like stars in the sky, it gives me Starry Night vibes, which I am down for. Could also add like a pattern to the vase with the different colored shards. But maybe that's getting too complicated then. Let's not be too precise here, guys. We're just loosey-gooseying this whole project. Because the whole point here for me is to just play and not take it too seriously because I don't know what I'm doing. I just wanna mess around and see what looks good. I sort of see projects like this like sketches, you know, like I don't have a huge sketchbook practice. So just playing around like this kind of, you know, it helps me to come up with ideas and figure out what looks good. And then later, you know, I do the real project because we definitely have enough shards for another project. Okay, I think I'm just gonna go for it. I think I'm just gonna mix up some cement and start putting the stuff down. I would much rather use PVA glue like I've done in the past for tile projects, but because these are so wiggly wobbly, they're not flat, I want there to be a little bit of thickness that I can push the pieces in to, you know, get them more flat. Yeah, because if I just lay them down like this, it's very bumpy, and that's not cool. That's not what we're looking for. Was my past self so kind to my future self here? Look what I wrote. 2.5 kilo left, 650 milliliters. Yeah, it's 2.5 kilo. I'm gonna use 1 kilo of it at a time. So if 2.5 kilo is 650 milliliters, 1 kilo is 260 milliliters. Okay, I've got the pot done. A little bit stressful. It's like you're making a puzzle, but there's a time limit to your puzzle because the cement is drying. So I have all the pieces like this that I smashed yesterday, and then like I'm going over to the hammer again and smashing it some more as I go. And then to get them to fit, the key here is to get it looking as neat as possible, getting your lines as straight as possible so that the form looks nice. I think this is a craft that could look really crafty really quickly. So if you want it to look nice, you need to get one of these. These are tile cutters for mosaics. Yeah, I think this tool was pretty freaking essential. This is not like the most chill craft in my experience, but it's probably just because I'm new. I'm like kind of stressed out. Like I don't know what gaps are too big. I don't know how long I have until the cement dries. And I don't know if it's gonna look good, but I'm trusting the process. I'm telling myself I'm going to just keep going. I think it'll look a lot better once I start adding the blue in. Let's take a little break to talk about today's sponsor, Squarespace. If you've never heard about Squarespace before, they are an all-in-one website that artists and entrepreneurs use to stand out online. I've personally been using Squarespace pretty much ever since I started my online business, and I'm still using them for my website today. There's a few things that I love about Squarespace, one of which is their online store, where you can sell physical products, online classes, services, or even memberships. Two, they just launched a really cool AI feature called Squarespace Blueprint that makes setting up your website, tailoring your brand, and optimizing for SEO even easier. And three, once you have that online store set up, Squarespace offers really flexible payment options. So your customers can have a seamless ordering experience using PayPal, credit cards, Apple Pay, or even Afterpay. So if you're ready to take selling your pottery to the next level, or you're just looking for an online home for your art, I really recommend Squarespace because they make making a beautiful website really easy. So head to squarespace.com right now for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/potterytothepeople for 10% off your very first website or domain. Now let's get back to the video. Ta-da! She's done. I mean, she's not done. She needs grout, but I've finished laying all the tiles. That was uber tedious, and I'm really glad that I chose this size because I wanted originally a bigger size, but this was really good for the first time. I do have little cuts all over my fingers, and the very last tile I cut flew right here. So don't do what I do, wear protection, wear gloves if you can. I found that the gloves got in the way of placing them, but you definitely want to wear eye protection. Don't do what I did. Anyway, I'm like on the fence with this piece. I partially think it's freaking amazing and I partially think it's terrible. I really can't decide. I need a moment. Well, I need to finish it because I think what is off to me is that it just doesn't look finished. So I think that that's gonna make a huge difference. I'm going to use dark colored grout because I want the background to kind of fade into the background and the pot itself to stick out. This is the goal. I completely forgot to do the green base that the pot is sitting on, but I didn't forget the stars, so I'm happy about that. I think that looks really nice. Otherwise, it would have been too boring, I think. So I'm gonna let this dry overnight, and tomorrow I'll get to grouting. And I got this huge mess to clean up. There's chips of ceramics everywhere. Okay, it's the next day. Our cement has dried. Here's how she's looking. So I went to the store and I got some brown grout. It's like a very dark brown, hopefully. And if you want to do a project like this, make sure you measure how wide your grout lines are going to be. I opted for a grout that could withstand thicker grout lines. So this is called flexible and it's up to 3 centimeters grout line. For a project like this, your grout lines are going to be way bigger than a standard tile. So just keep that in mind. Your grout should say like how wide it can stand. Remember, it always looks worse before it looks better. Okay, so the lighting really sucks in here, but I really wanted to put it here because we are right in the entrance to my apartment and this room just really needed some art and I thought this scale just worked so nicely. This is the first thing that people see when they come into my apartment and I just think it's really beautiful. Also, we just took all of the wallpaper down in this hallway, so this wall needs some paint. Finally, I'm thinking green, something like an olivey forest green. Let me know what you think. Those of you who've been watching my channel for a while know that I've been making a lot of things for my apartment because we just don't have very much art here. So I'm super excited to finally have this on the wall. And I'm so excited that we made this from ceramic trash. I've got a lot of shards left, so let me know down below in the comments what I should make next with these shards because this used maybe like 1/10 of the shards that I have. I need to come up with some more projects. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye friends.